Good morning. How are you today? Everybody bring your notebooks and all the brain power you can possibly have, because you have to learn a lot today. And we're going to teach you a lot about product and how these products can help change your life. You know, Carico makes dreams come true. And what's really great, we can look at the economy, and to me, it's very, very exciting, because when I talk to friends and I tell them, how is our business? And I say, well, our business should have our best year this year that we've ever had. And they look at me like okay, you're going to have a good year? Yeah. Why? Because we have great products that people need. We have products that are timely in any economy. And today, more than ever, how many people today are more concerned about their health? Are you? Because I think we are realizing today the value of our health. So people are concerned about their health. They may not go out and buy that big home, or they may not go out and buy a boat, or they may not go out and buy all the luxury things, but they will buy things for their health, evident by the new people selling $8,000, $10,000, $12,000. It's here. This is not make-believe. This is real. And the good news you heard today, people are buying our products. Our closing average is about the same. It's higher. It's higher. But let's say it was the same. And the closing average in this room is about 70% of the people that are demonstrated this week will end up owning Carico. 50 to 60% for the new people, and 80, 90% for the experienced people, somewhere in that range. So it's about a 70% average. That means if we show the products to 1,000 people, 700 people are going to say, I want to own them. So the only question is, how often do you get the products in front of people? And how much knowledge do you have? Today, I'm going to give you knowledge about all of these products. And the reason I'm doing it is because I know more about these products than any person in the world, because I developed them all over the last 42 years. Every product here had my touch on it, and a lot of passion and a lot of love going into it. The first product we introduced was Fine China. Does anybody have one of my Carico pens? The original black pen? Ah, that's what I'm looking for. The original. I had the blue one too. It was in my office. I meant to bring it. I need it for a reason. The first product I introduced was Fine China. Even though we had products from other suppliers like cookware and other products, what I introduced first was Fine China, because we sold a lot of young girls for their hope chest or for future planning or brides, and they all wanted to own Fine China. Our china is quite special and quite unique, and I would say, I'm not quite sure the year we introduced it. Was it 1977? Late 78. 77, 78, we introduced our china. 88, 98, 30 years later, we have every piece and every pattern. There is no other company in the world that can say that. And the china we handle is the finest china available anywhere in the world. You know, the best in the world? How can you possibly say that? Because I spec it to be the best in the world. Let's talk about Fine China for a moment. When you select a plate, and you go through a selection process, the first thing you have to decide is how you're going to make the plate. Ours is made of the finest porcelain china that money can buy. And the process of the china is amazing. First of all, the clay, which is mixed into a slip, it's called a slip, it's a liquid clay, is put into a vat about the size of this right here. A huge vat, and it mixes the clay. But while it's mixing the clay, the vat's on vibrators, vibrating like this. You say, well, why is it vibrating? Because it wants all the air bubbles to rise to the top. And they do that for 24 hours before they start to use the slip. I don't know of any company in the world, other than our manufacturer, who builds it to our specifications that'll de-air their china that well. That eliminates the pimples and the bubbles that you see in a lot of china. When you look at it, you see the little holes and the little teeny, looks like needle holes. That's because the air, when they fired it, came out, and now it leaves little porosity in it. Caraco has none. Then when they make and they fire the china, they put it in a kiln. And again, they fire it, but our kiln is quite different because temperatures inside of the kiln change from the bottom to the top. Caraco china, each piece goes from the bottom to the top to the bottom to the top and runs on a conveyor that goes up and down, so each piece has the same consistent heat. And then they go through selection. Once the body comes out, they now put it through its first selection, and they look at them to see if everything's perfect. And inspectors are here under bright lights, and they grade the china into 4 grades. Obviously, the cheaper china patterns will use the 4th grade. Our company destroys them. We don't use the 3rd. We don't use the 2nd. All we use is first selection. The rest of them goes for other use. So we use only the top grade selection, which gives you almost a perfect body. It's fired for 24 hours, and then they apply the patterns. When they apply the patterns, if you look at a lot of china, you'll notice that when they put the platinum on, you can see the white on the side of the plate. You see from the top, you can see the white. So the platinum is just on the top. We roll our platinum all the way over the side. Why? Because that's the way china is supposed to be. So you have twice as much or 3 times as much platinum on a plate. Expensive material. In addition, they use a liquefied platinum. Ours is a pure platinum. They call it platinum, which means that it does not liquefy. And the difference is in the flatness of our pattern versus when you look at the cheaper chinas, you'll see that it's shiny and real tinsely looking. Ours is always a flat platinum, and it's pure platinum. And then they fire the china, they put the decorations on by hand, and they put the platinum on by hand. I am amazed how they do that. I was at the factory, and they said, spinning. I tried it. They said, try it. I said, okay, I tried. So I had a big band. I painted the paint by it. Just paint that sucker, because you got to have a steady hand to do this. So they have the masters dealing with our product line, the best. How do you tell fine china? There's 2 ways. One, it should have a bell-like tone when struck. It should sound like a bell. And number 2, it should be translucent. Let's see if it sounds like a bell. You hear it still ringing? For those of you who want a little experience, never hit it twice. Because if you go bam, bam, it could crack. The reason being it's vibrating, and when you hit it, it will send a shock through the plate, and you can actually crack it. I've done it once. And then I figured out, how did that crack? Well, you don't hit it twice until you stop it. Pretty strong, huh? And it should be translucent, which means you should be able to see through it. Now, let me see if I have a bright light here. They're not so bright, but do you see my hand through there? If I could get it, do you see the shadow through there?
Yes, there.
Yeah. So it's translucent, and if you put it up to a real bright light, which I don't have here, you see that? Okay. Now, if we were to crack this plate and stick it in ink, it would not absorb. Means there's no porosity inside of it. Now, how strong is this? Porcelain china is very strong. Let me show you how strong it is. So you can actually stand on your cup this way, not this way. Go ahead. You want to try it?
Do I have to pay for it?
No. No. That's. That's a test. So all of our china is made of the finest ingredients, the finest firing process. We use pure platinum and 24 karat gold. Now, I want you to think about this. Look at this decal. Each piece is fitted to the plate. So every piece has its own decal. Other china companies don't do that. They put it together, and if you look at them, you'll see there's different gaps in between them, depending on the size of the plate. This is crooked. You see how it's off here? The platinum is very poor and missing. So this is the kind of product that other people tend to manufacture because it's cheaper to manufacture. So you can get anything you want in China. When you buy China and you look at Dalton, Minton, Rosenthal, and some of the fine Lenox and so on, China is expensive. Part of owning China is that it's expensive. Because when you entertain, you say, look at my China. This is, there's a pride to it, isn't there? It's like a diamond. Any of you women want a cheap diamond with flaws in it? No, you want a perfect stone, the perfect color, no flaws. And part of owning a diamond is it was expensive. You know, let me ask you a question. If someone comes to propose to you, says, oh, I want to get married, I want to give you a diamond, and you find out afterward it was a really junky diamond, had a lot of flaws, and it was really cheap, had a little crack in the bottom, what would you say? You know, I think it's time to take your diamond back. You cheap son of a gun. You know, so part of owning a diamond is that it's quality. Don't you agree? I'll tell you an interesting story. I used to demonstrate a lot of china. So when the customer, I remember demonstrating a woman, and I said, she picked out a pattern. I said, oh, that's one of my least expensive patterns. She said, oh, then let me look again. Because part of owning china is that you want to brag about the fact this is fine china, it's an heirloom, it's something. Now, women have been programmed to own china. All of their life, since they were little girls, they had a china or tea set. How many of you women remember when you were a little girl, you had a tea set or a china set, or you said, how many of you women in the room, let me see hands, had some kind of a tea or china set? How many of you still have it someplace stored? It's something you keep forever. If someone gave you a little tea set or china, you say, oh my God, this is something. So somewhere in your childhood, you've been taught, boy, you need to have fine china to entertain with. I know my daughter used to make me sit around and Daddy, I sit here, I'm making you something to drink and to eat. And you sit there on a little stool going, oh yes. Because that's what little girls do, right? So indirectly, everybody has been programmed somewhere in their life to own fine china, and it's very delicate and very special. Unfortunately for us, ours is not delicate, it's just very special. It's very strong, very durable, and will last a lifetime. But the problem with china is that in most cases, when people buy fine china, they go back 2 years later, 3 years later, and they want to add to their set. Or they want to get a broken piece. They broke a couple of cups. A friend's going to drop the cup. Oh, I need a new cup. Well, I'm sorry, we don't have that pattern anymore. Let me show you a new set. So you can invest $2,000, $3,000 in your fine china set, and if you break it, you can't use it. So what happens? You say, don't touch my china. Just put it in the cabinet and look at it. We don't use it because I can't get the pieces anymore. Yes? You've seen that with your parents or grandparents. Oh, don't touch it. You can't get those pieces anymore. Well, at Carico, you can get the pieces, and if you happen to break a piece, it's replaced at half price. So that makes our china very special. Something that you'll pass down from generation to generation. We have more pieces than any other china company in every pattern, meaning we have cups, saucers, dinner plates, demi-tasse cups and saucers, napkin rings, coasters, ashtrays. We have amazing amount of selection of pieces that most companies do not have. As a matter of fact, I don't know of any company in any one pattern that has as many pieces as Caraco does. So if you look at what Caraco's China program is very special. Our crystal. Is full lead crystal. Look at this. Look at this cup. Before I get to the crystal, I want to show you some. This is the most amazing cup in the world. The most amazing cup in the world, and you will never see one like this. How come? Well, you got to ask yourself a question. First of all, a black cup will show any flaw there is. So you have to have a good body to start with. Then they are going to put a platinum band on the top, a platinum band here, a platinum band here. Then they're going to put a platinum band here, but they're not going to get anything on the inside. And I look at it and go, you've got to be a master to be able to put that platinum on with a brush and not screw up the cup. Wouldn't you agree? So when you really look at that, this tells you the quality of Caraco China. Now, also, the cup has a flared shape. If you look at our crystal, you'll notice that I designed the crystal to match the cup. So when you put it on a table, they look like they belong together. You see the shape of the crystal and the shape of the cup, very similar. Now, of course, your crystal. Your hair still ringing. That's fine crystal. Again, the difference between eating and dining is the china and the crystal you set. Now, women, sometimes we don't appreciate you because we sit down at a dinner, it's very nice. To a woman, the only difference between eating and dining when she sets her beautiful table, when she sets a table for her guests and her guests come, if you go to a woman's home, if you go to a home for dinner and they set a table, please take the time to compliment it because someone put time behind it. It's just not dishes to eat off of. If they set a china table for you with crystal and that, take the time to say, oh my goodness, your table looks beautiful, because that's why they spent all the time with the flowers and the little things. Am I right? Yeah. So you better say, oh, your table looks beautiful if you want to be a good guest. Don't just compliment the food, look at the table, because the difference between eating and dining is the table you set. The only difference. You go to a fine restaurant, it costs a lot of money. If you go to a restaurant that serves on fine china, get ready for a big bill. Because now you're dining. If you're eating, there's no china. And throw the dishes down. When you start out with the plate and you put the china and you look at the table and it's set beautiful before you sit down, you go, okay, this is going to be an expensive dinner. Yes? Because it's special. Why shouldn't every dinner be special? Why? I'm going to tell you something. You women want to keep the romance in your marriage or your relationship? Tell you what you do. Doesn't make any difference what you cook. It's not important. What's important is how you look and how your table looks when your mate comes home. He could have a lousy day. He walks into the house. He sees a table set for two with some champagne glasses out, a candlelight flickering, and he don't really give a damn about his day anymore. He knows what's for dessert. So he's excited. He's going, yes, tonight's the night. So you want to keep the romance in the marriage, set a nice table. Don't say, let's sit down and eat. Say, come on, sit down, go freshen up, we'll have something nice for you. And I don't care if you put ginger ale in this glass, it's going to be nice. Wouldn't you agree? Now, you can have the finest champagne in the world. If you put it in a jelly glass, it's like drinking Coca-Cola. Yes? the glass. Here's what I do sometimes. Sometimes I decide I'm not going to drink. So I order a Pellegrino or a sparkling water with a little cranberry juice. I put a little cranberry in and I put it in a wine or champagne glass. You get the same effect as if you're drinking a drink, but you're not getting the calories and the alcohol. But the difference is, if you put it in the heavy glass, it's water. If you put it in a wine glass or a champagne glass, I swear to God, the other night I was out and I had a martini. And afterwards I said, well, maybe I'd like that. And I go, Rick, you don't need another martini. So there was cranberry juice. I put a little cranberry. I put the sparkling water in the martini glass. I had a second martini. And I was drinking. I go, this is just as good as the other one, but it was because of the martini glass I was drinking it out of that made me feel I'm having another martini. Mental. It's amazing. It's amazing what can happen in your mind and what you think. I'll tell you a funny story. Had nothing to do with this. I bought two jet skis. My girlfriend's on one and I'm on the other one. I take them down the Intercoastal Waterway and I get on it. And they're a high output, high performance machine, and I'm doing 60 miles an hour. I'm like, whoa, this thing is pretty fast. At 60 miles an hour on a jet ski, you're barely touching water. Yeah. So now I said change. I want to see if the other one's just as fast. Man, I go 50. 60, 70, 80, 90. I'm doing 90 on this thing. I'm shaking. I'm scared. I'm going, oh my God, don't turn. Slow down, slow. You'll flip this thing, you're dead. Calm down, slow down. And I'm nervous. I slow it down. Oh, whew, that's scary. This thing's a rocket ship. So I go back. I said, man, this is scary. This thing is so fast. It's dangerous. This is dangerous. And I looked down, and this one was set on kilometers, and the other one was set on miles. So I was doing the exact same speed, but in my mind, I saw 90. I thought I was doing 90 miles an hour, and I was scared, where before I was doing 60, I was okay. It was the exact same, because the kilometers to the miles was exactly the same. So it's amazing what the mind can do. I should have left it at kilometers. I'd have more fun. Look how fast I'm going, which I might switch it back. But the truth of the matter is the mind is an amazing thing. So if you think you're drinking fine out of fine crystal and you're dining the china crystal and the tableware that you set the table with is amazing. Now, let's talk about our tableware. Our tableware has polished tines inside. This is the finest 18/8 surgical stainless steel tableware. If you look at the back of our tableware, we have a pattern on it. So we do the back just like the front. This is the way sterling silver is made. So we use the same concept of sterling silver. If you put this next to a silver piece, the same pattern, if there was one, you wouldn't tell the difference. Because we use special polishing processes and special steel to make it look like sterling without the polishing. We polish the tines. It's strong. It doesn't bend. Look at the details. So you have the sterling look, the sterling feel, and stainless steel that you don't have to polish or you don't have to clean on a regular basis. So we have the finest. The only time we use silver, do you know where we use silver? Silver spoon? For Baby Pure. Because the silver, when we were younger, or not when you were younger, but way back, way before my time. Okay, this is like prehistoric. Now, way before my time, in the old days, they would say, wow, that baby was born with a silver spoon. So that story went on. You were born with a silver spoon in your mouth meant that you were born to a rich family. Does that make sense? You were born with a silver spoon. You were a privileged child. Now, what that really means, in the old days, they didn't have the refrigeration and things of that sort. So when they would feed the baby, if you had a silver spoon, it would help keep the bacteria growth or kill the bacteria on the food. So the babies who had silver spoons were more likely to live. They had a better chance of living because the infancy death was very high. So if you were born with a silver spoon, it means your family had enough money to buy a silver spoon for the baby to keep the bacteria growth down. Interesting, right? But based on the fact we have dishwashers and stuff like that, we don't need them for adults. But we do have the silver spoon for the baby for our Baby Pure program. So our china and crystal and tableware program is special because it has permanent pattern, open stock, half-price replacement, and it is the finest china, the finest body, the finest design in cups, serving pieces, the largest collection of any china in the world, bar none. And 10 years from today, they'll still be able to get their pieces. If they break them, they get them at half price. Does that make sense to you? Now, if you were going to buy a fine set of china, you're going to invest a lot of money, would that be important to you? Say, yeah, it would. Now, this pattern, I think, is just amazing. There's one at Dalton like this. It's about $400 a place setting. And if you go to department store, fine china shops, not Kmart, fine china shops, you'll find that china sells for $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 a place setting for fine china. So our china pricing is competitive and our warranties are amazing. So I think you'll see that if you understand the China program and you understand the difference in Caraco's China, you'll realize that Caraco stands alone in its product. One more thing. This is a competitive cup. For those you know, it's Royal Prestige. Now, if you feel the bottom of this cup, honey, what do you feel? A little rough. Feel the bottom of our cup. Now, it's not fired on the top, and it's not fired on the bottom. This is the only cup you're going to find that's smooth. The difference is, and you can hear it when you're eating. I want you to listen to this. Do you hear the difference? It's the clay and the firing. So it's not the quality of a Caraco plate. Finest. Want to give me a hand with this? Move this out of here. Let's talk about the next product, which is our fine cookware. I love Caraco cookware. You have to understand, I've been selling cookware for 44 years, 45 years. Would you say I know a little about cookware? And for you women, I can cook really good. I give you some good recipes if you'd like. We'll talk about it during this presentation. One of my favorite recipes was called the Hamburger Surprise. Hamburger Surprise. You get fresh ground beef, lean, and you make a hamburger patty real thin and big. And then you make another hamburger patty real thin and real big. Then you chop up your onions, your tomatoes, some mozzarella cheese, maybe if you want, put some roasted red peppers, whatever you would like to put in there. Then you put some barbecue sauce and you mix it and you put it in the middle. And then you take the other hamburger, put it on top, and squeeze the end, and you get this real nice thick hamburger with all the flavors inside. Put your black pepper, salt, whatever you want, so that when you're cooking it, it's marinating through the whole hamburger. And when you serve these, people go crazy. So I tell them how to make a hamburger surprise without any oil, without any fat. You heat your skillet, make the skillet, throw it on, brown at one side, flip it, cover the skillet. 8-9 minutes later, your hamburger's done, and the people will go gaga over it because the flavor from all of this inside, the peppers and the onion and the tomatoes and the mozzarella is all inside, just not laying on top at the end. And the people go, yeah. How many people want a hamburger? They don't sell those at McDonald's, by the way. They don't sell those at McDonald's. But let's talk about some of the cookware, because I think it's important you understand the different types of cookware. And I'd like you to come over after the meeting. All of you should take a little walk around and look at some of this, because I think it's important. This is Al-Clad pan. Now, this is probably one of the best pans in a retail store. Okay, it's an expensive pan. This pan is $75. And it's a 1 quart. First of all, if you put it in your hand, put that in your hand. You feel it biting here? This, for some reason, I can't understand why you have sharp edges here, because when I put it in my hand, it hurts. Sharp. Okay? You got rivets inside. And if you can look at the way it's made, the water's going to come up here and it squirts all over your stove as you're cooking. Everything's shooting out because it comes up the side and right out the side here. So all of a sudden you get to your kitchens and you got a big mess around there because of the seal on there. Now you say, wow, but the core is nice. It's got aluminum core, not as thick as ours, but it's got aluminum core with stainless steel on both sides, a la Caraco. But they don't have the cap and don't have the water seal. Let me show you the difference. We have one of these loose, the Caraco one loose? No. Let me show you the difference. And when you look at a pan here, and you look at a Caraco pan, and you say, wow, look at the difference in the metal we would save if we built it like theirs. All of this would be gone. Now you say, wow, that's a lot of metal. When you think about the size, it's the biggest part of the pan. So this piece of metal is probably 20% or 25%, 20% more metal because the disc has to be bigger. Does that make sense to you? This would be that much smaller all the way around. You say, well, that's a lot of the metal of the pan. So you say, well, the metal alone is 25% more to have this water seal on. Plus you have 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 or 5 additional steps in the manufacturing process. This is one. Well, boom. This one takes multiple steps, and then we put a bottom on top of it, which is another 7 or 8 steps, polishing, cleaning. So you say, wow, this pan has got to be tremendously more expensive to manufacture. Does that make sense to you? Because we have the silver cap on the bottom with the aluminum and silver and aluminum and then a surgical stainless steel. Now, obviously, putting a handle like this on and blip, blip, with a rivet is a lot easier than doing electronic weld, so there's no screws or rivets on the inside of the pan. And then we put real handles on them that fit your hand like a glove. Okay? They fit your hand like a glove. This fits your hand like a glove. Now, how did we design these handles? Well, I looked at everybody else's handles in the market. I go, who the hell is designing these handles? Why? They don't fit your hand. So people get in, they sketch a handle, they build a handle, but nobody thinks about the hand. So I said, let's think about the hand. I took clay. And I had art engineers and designers playing with these different designs. They showed me 20 designs. I don't like them. Anyway, I took clay and I squeezed it in my hand like this. And I squeezed it like this. And I squeezed it again. And it fit like this. And I said, do you see this? This is called a handle. Take this clay and make it into a handle. And then you have a handle, because it fits the hand. That's why they call it a handle. So we have a handle that fits the hand like a glove. Then I took the other one and I said, when you pick up one like this, your hand would be like this. And I kept grabbing and grabbing, and I said, do you see this? This is a handle. Take this clay and make it look sexy. Ta-da! We gave it a little curves, gave this a little curves. We protect it so you don't hit your fingers here. And then we put the longest flame guards that you could possibly have on a pan. But because they're underneath, they don't look as long from the top. From the bottom, look how long they are. So you go, wow, that's to protect the handle. Then we'll use the triobular screw to make sure it doesn't keep coming loose and it stays tight. So the screw costs us a little bit more. The handle's made of the finest plastic. You can put it in an oven up to 400 degrees, 350, 400 degrees. It's not going to burn. It's going to last forever. And if you happen to break it, you can replace it, because you can put a new handle on. So this is the finest cooking vessel in the world. There's no other cookware you're going to find anywhere in the world that is built to these specifications, because they're Caraco specs. Why don't they build them? Because when people build products, they always think cost. That much more, too much metal, too many steps, too much. The customer's not going to appreciate it. If you walk into a store and all these pans are there, you're only going to get confused. Well, what's the difference? Oh, this one's easy to clean because it's got a coating on it. Oh, yeah, really? Yeah. It's $125. It's a Calphalon pan. It's coated. It comes off. It wears off. It scrapes off. In 3 to 4 or 5 years, you need to replace your pan. And this pan right here is $125. So really, yeah, but you're going to replace it 10 times. And when the black is gone, ask yourself a question. Where'd it go? You're eating it. You're eating it. In many countries, this is banned. They know for a fact if you heat this, if you have a canary in the room and you overheat Teflon or a coating, the canary would sick or possibly die. It's called polyumar fume fever. Canaries are very sensitive to gases. Are you aware of that? What's that?
That's why they used to have them along the mines.
Yeah, they'd have them in the mines. They'd set them in the mines so that as soon as the gas would go, you'd look. If the bird stops tweeting, get out of the mine, because the bird's dead. As a matter of fact, I lost a canary because they were painting and doing some painting in my house, and the canary died. What happened? He was on the floor going like this. And I said, oh, my God, we should have never left him in while they were doing painting in the house. It killed the poor canary. So my wife took him, my girlfriend took him to the vet. They said, for $1,000 we can operate. I said, it's a canary. $1,000, I'll go get it. They'll laugh. The first canary was yellow. We spent $1,000 trying to save it. So this was the second canary, it was a brown canary. The first one was $1,000. I said, why didn't I just go to the store, buy another yellow canary, and sneak in and switch them? I'd have saved $950, Anyway, amazing what you do for your pets, huh? But Teflon, how many people would want to really cook in this? Yeah. All right. Now, and you can't cook waterless. So here's your retail pans, none of which can you cook waterless, none of which can you do the cooking that you need to do with a Caraco pan. Let's talk about some of this is a Royal Prestige pans, one of the competitors, okay? Any style to that? We're going to do a heat test, a test in a minute, if we can get some hot water. This is a Classica pan. They have handles that come on and off. You think it's a good idea? We don't know why it's a good idea. Let me tell you an interesting story. When I was developing our cookware, I wanted to have handles that came on and off. I worked on it, but I had a different reason for it. I wanted to do them in granite color, blue, white handles. I was going to give you the selection of 3 or 4 different color handles for your set. And then they'd clip on so I could have the set, and then we'd just let you pick your color handle. Well, in the process of working with it, I found that as we started doing colors, they wouldn't stand up. They would get brittle on the inside. They would break. So every time we went to test them, they failed the test. And if you put the color in it and the speckling in it, it started having odors. So they'd say, well, let's test this. I'd take a lighter. I'd go, shh, no good. I'd take it, bam, snap, no good. So after trying with a lot of engineers, I finally realized that the colors weren't going to work on a long-term basis. And then I also realized that when you put handles on like this, they wobble, and they're ugly. So I said, I think I'm going to stay with black handles because it made more sense, silver and black. So I shelved the idea. My competitors knew what I was doing. They tried to copy it and ended up with the goofiest thing I've ever seen. Okay? So, but this set of cookware, I'll get to that in a minute and show you some of the competition and the pricing. And this, for those of you who know, is a Salad Master pan. Same concept, wires on the side, handle in there. But look at the way it's wobbling. So all your handles will be loose and wobbling. Okay? And he said, what do you think? I go, I don't think it's really a good idea. Plus, it's dangerous. If this wasn't put on properly and it were to slip off when people were using it. So I said, this set of cookware, Salad Master cookware, I'm going to give you a comparison here. A 10-piece set of Classica is $1,585. A 9-piece set of Salad Master is $2,495. A 10-piece set of, there was one here, Towncraft. I must put it someplace. There was another pan here. Towncraft, 10-piece set, $1,969. So when you look for good cookware, it is not cheap. It's expensive. And our prices, especially with the discounts we give, are extremely, extremely competitive. However, we have things that no one else has. Now, here's what makes our pan so special. In addition to the wonderful handles, flame guard, the construction of the pan, the cap bottom, we have the only temperature gauge in the world that reads the air inside the pan without touching any metal. It is the only pan in the world, and we have been granted, we finally, after all the work we did, are getting a utility patent. Means anything that is remotely like this cannot be used for a minimum of 17 years. We got it for Canada, Europe, Asia, and the United States. So this is something we have exclusive. Is that exciting? It calls you when it needs you. Close it, tells you exactly what to do. This temperature gauge works. Anyone using this, Philippa, your wife uses it with the temperature gauge?
Absolutely.
She love it? You using it?
Yes, I do.
Does it work?
Oh, yes.
Awesome.
Accurate.
Yes, yes.
If it gets to the red, you're burning. Simple, you're burning, you get to the red. So before, you'd ever have to look over, touch the pan, see if it's hot. How do you know if you're going to burn? So if you're going to cook without water and you're going to cook nutritionally, if you're going to boil all your food to death, you can use a coffee can. Then it don't make any difference what you're putting it in. Because all you're doing is boiling it and killing it. Do you want to boil your foods? If you want to destroy them, boil them. If you want to enjoy them and give nutritive value, and it's interesting because when you look at why do you want, everywhere you look today, everywhere you look, Newsweek, cancer and diet, eating to beat the odds, what you need to. 1/3 of all cancers can be prevented by changes in diets and lifestyle. Okay? Heart disease and stroke are the first and third leading cause of death in the United States. About 950,000 Americans die, which amount to one death in every 3 seconds. You can reduce your risk of heart disease and stroke by adopting a healthier, more nutritional diet. And here's what we've done. We peel, boil, and drain away all the vitamins and minerals out of the food. When I was younger, my mother used to make us soup when we got sick. She would boil the vegetables, boil the chicken, and then we'd drink the broth to get strong, right? That's because that's where the vitamins and minerals were. Once you cook without water, you will never boil your food again. Never. So improper preparation can destroy. If you want to stay healthy, you have to exercise. We all agree? Drink 8 to 10 glasses of pure water a day. Make the proper food selections. Less fats, more greens, more chlorophyll, more fish. Reduce fat intake. Increase consumption of whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. Whole grains. You know, remember when we were young, I used to say, Wonder Bread builds strong bodies, 8 ways or something. It was an advertisement. I'd like to know what 8 ways, because it was white bread. If you take white bread, there's a one good use for it. When we were kids, we used to make it. You'd be able to form stuff with them, and you could use it for paper mache. Remember that? Yeah? Yeah, you could use for... Or if your wallpaper is coming off the wall, you take the white bread, make it wet, and then rub it behind it and put it back. It'll stick the wallpaper up for you. It's like glue. Oh, yeah. Factual. That gooky stuff there, you put it up on the wall, push the wallpaper back, you go, good, this is glue. So if you run out of glue, use white bread. Yeah. Now, if you make it into a little ball, wet it and make it into a ball, the next day, what do you have? A rock. It turns into like a rock. It gums up your system. So you need grains. You need to eat more grains. Grain are the staff of life. Unfortunately, we don't eat enough grains. Grains, vegetables, and other nutritional things. But if you cook without water, for instance, you make corn on the cob in our pan. How do you make corn on the cob in this pan? Very simple. You take your vegetables, your corn, you cut the ends off of them a little bit. I peel them down till you have the real fine little husks on them. I wet them. Put them in the pan. Stack them in your pan. Turn it on a medium heat. If you want to be bad, you can put some, I almost think it's butter on the lid. Yeah, you can do that. A little seasoning on it. Close it and let it baste in the butter. When you get through, you take it out and you will taste the best corn you've ever eaten in your life. If you boil your corn in water, when you're pouring the water down the drain, you can smell the sugar. If you boil a pan of carrots, drain the water off, put it on a skillet, drain the water into a skillet, turn the flame on, and let the water all evaporate, and you'll have syrup on the bottom of your skillet. It'll turn black and you'll have syrup. Okay? That's the carotene and the sugar from the carrot. So the children will eat the raw carrot. They just don't want to eat the cooked carrot because you've taken all the flavor out of it. So your foods look better, they taste better, and they're much better for you. Once you have Caraco cookware, it'll last you the rest of your life. It'll pay for itself in 3 to 4 years in savings of heat, conductivity, vegetables that you're not peeling half the vegetables, you scrub them clean, and the energy you save over the years, it will pay for itself. Now, what makes our cookware work so well? Joey, is this water in here? Hot water, okay. Let's take one of these pans here. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to pour a little hot water in this one. Yeah. Just move them back a little. I'm going to pour some hot water in this one. I'm going to pour some hot water in this one. And then we're going to do something here. I want you to touch the edges of the lid. The edge. Now the edge there. Is that one warm yet?
No. It's cold.
No? All right, give it a second. And we're going to see something here. Okay. Now try it again. Cold, warm.
Yeah.
Yep. Cold, warm. Cold, warm. Do you see the difference? Just by putting a little water in the pan. Want to try it? Try it. Cold. Do you see a difference? Yeah? Try it, Felipe. Oi! Because it conducts the heat up the side. So when you cook in waterless cookware, it cooks from the bottom up, the sides in, and the top down. Now, the way it works is when you put your pan on a medium heat, the air inside starts to expand. Does that make sense to you? And then what happens is the moisture gets up onto the lip here. Okay? Into the water seal. You can tell the difference just from now. Now, I want you to lift the lid very lightly. Did you feel a suction when you went to lift it? Now put it back down here. Let's see if we can get it spin again. Lightly. You see that? I did this in the home. I just put a drop of water, spin my lid with the valve closed, and say, feel the difference. Did you feel it? You have to break the seal. It's like glued. Okay? Now you can't do that on any of these other pans that they have in retail. There's no seal. Did you feel that? You have to break it.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's the water seal we talk about. Okay? And it seals the moisture in and keeps the vitamins and minerals in. Now here's what you've learned in school. You cannot burn in a vacuum. Is that correct? If there's no oxygen, my boat has a system. If the fire system goes off, all the vents close automatically to keep the oxygen out of the engine room, which means the fire will go out. So the engine room automatically seals from the heat. And you don't go in the engine room because the fire is going to go out, because it's going to put the sprinkler is going to go on, but it's also going to starve it of oxygen, which means the fire will go out. So what ends up happening, as long as you don't break this seal and you keep the temperature in the middle, you'll never burn your food because it won't dry out. It'll keep the moisture in the food. Food will look better, going to taste better, and you're cooking in its own natural juices. Your vegetables will be amazing. Now, let me ask you a question. When you look at Caraco cookware, and you look at the manufacturing of that product, and you look at the heat across the bottom, and you look at the sides and the water seal, can you see why it costs more to manufacture than this or this? You got to come up and take a look at it. We have a whole board here of cookware, competitive cookware. You can look at it and you say, this is obvious. You don't have to explain anymore. You're going to conduct the heat across the bottom. You're going to get good bottom heat. You're going to get good side heat. You got the water seal. You got the temperature gauge, the phenolic handles, the tri-oblique screw. There is no pan in the world, and a lifetime guarantee, and that makes Caraco stand alone. The finest pan available anywhere in the world. Now we're going to talk about the food you eat. We're going to talk about the water you drink. But before we do, I think I'm going to talk about our juicer, because once I get over there, I'm going to get into some testing. Caraco juicers are, without a doubt, the finest juicer available in the world. They're designed with the most powerful motor that you can have. I had a friend of mine who was working on my boat. He had held my drives, and I told him, he says, how do you stay so young? How do you stay in such good shape? I said, I juice every day. He said, I started that, but it only lasted a week. I said, why? He says, I bought one of those Juice Man juicers, and at the end of the week, it was shot. I swear to God. I don't lie. He said, I burnt it out. I said, you can burn them all out. Their motors are little dinky little motors, and they're not engineered properly. They're engineered for price. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Okay? Cheap, cheap, cheap. And you can hear them. This juice here is over $500. I want you to listen to it. This juicer here, you see on TV, sells for about $120. This is a juicer that you've seen in a lot of health food stores. They sell anywhere from $250, $220 to $400, depending on which one. This is like a $4 unit. Spinning, huh? Let me show you something. There's no pulp ejection. So every time you do a half a glass, you've got to stop, open it up, empty this out, take it apart, empty it out because you got to get all the pulp out. It sits in here. Okay, that's how much pulp. So you got to stop, open it up, take this apart, empty the pulp, put it back together, and get your second half a glass. So after a couple of days of juicing with this, you're going to go, this is a pain in the neck. They also tell you if you want to, you can put inside of here coffee strainers. And then you can just take the coffee strainer. I'm like, whoa. And this is one of the most popular juicers out there that people use. It's a joke. Okay? Now, let's take a look at Caraco's juicers. You put a big carrot in it, it eats it. Because this is the power of the motor. On turbo. So this is just idling for it. You've got a microprocessor inside that the more pressure you put, the more it keeps the steady speed. So that you juice properly, get the proper amount of juice out of them. Because all of these, you'll go, it'll stop them with a carrot. I'll take one carrot in here, one nice thick carrot, and I'll burn the motor out. And you stop it. You ain't stopping this one. You'll put it in there, it'll kick it right out, blow the juice out. Same with our other. Now, both of these have the same motors. One is a commercial model. It's all stainless steel. You see the difference in this? So when you get a Caraco juicer, you're getting a juicer for life. You're going to use your juicer for years and years and years. Now, what makes juicing so special? I call it the fountain of youth. I call it the fountain of youth for a couple of reasons. Number one, it helps strengthen your immune system. I don't know how many of you juiced this morning, but I drank green juice that much today. Every day. It is the first thing my maid does when she comes in the morning is makes my juice, puts in a foam cup with a straw in it, puts a couple of my vitamins out with it, and puts it out for me on the way out to work. I take it. It's in my car. Look every day. You'll look down there unless I decide to take it inside once when I throw it away. But usually I just put it on the floor when I'm done on the right side. You look down and you go, hey, yeah, there's this foam cup with a straw. It's there all the time. Why? Because I think it's the fountain of youth. I'm not going to die of cancer. I'm not going to have a heart problem. My skin is perfect. My hair is good. I thank God I came in and learned about juicing. Because we don't eat. Think about what you eat. One, we don't eat the right stuff. Two, we don't chew it. The more fruit, vegetables we eat and drink, the less likely to develop cancer. Dr. Greenwell. Fresh juice eliminate or prevent many health problems. Juice nourishes and revitalizes the blood system. They are the regenerators and builders of the body, drinking your troubles away. The only thing that nourishes the body is the juice from the foods, not the fiber. Only the juice, not the fiber. The fiber cleans your system. Most of us do not chew our foods thoroughly. By separating juices from the hard-to-digest pulp, you get nutrient-rich liquid that is absorbed into your bloodstream within minutes. So when I drink my juice, I swear to God, by the time I'm here, I feel like power. I feel alert. I feel awake. I feel energy. I feel healthy. I swear to God, 15 minutes I go, I can feel it. I can feel my body just enjoying this nutrients. So I juice for health. I eat for fun. What I mean, I have salads for roughage. So when I'm eating, I'm not worried so much if I'm getting so much nutrients. I got my nutrients. I have more nutrients this morning than all your breakfasts combined. This is nutrients. So you say, what do you think? I have more nutrients in one glass of juice than most people get for a week of eating. So what do I think of juicing? I think it is the fountain of youth. If you do nothing else for your health, juice. So if you juice every day, will you live longer? There is no doubt in my mind. If you cook without water, you cook without grease, keep your vitamins and minerals in your food for your family, juice every day, I got to tell you something, we could break some new records as to how long we're going to live. I'm looking to go skiing at 100. Down the mountain at 100. That's one of my goals. I swear, one of my goals is to ski down a mountain fast at 100. Why? Because my bones are going to be strong. I'm going to be like a bull. Bulls are vegetarians. Elephants are vegetarians. So people, you need meat. I don't think I need so much meat. I want to be a bull, or I want to be an elephant. No, I don't want to be an elephant, but but when you think about these cows, oh, they're big, they're strong. What do they eat? Now, I'll tell you an interesting thing. If you take cows and you want to make them fat, you boil potatoes and you boil their grains. If you boil their grains and you boil their potatoes, they will gain fat. Okay? So before they send them to slaughter, they fatten them up with cooked potatoes. Did you know that? They have devitalized grain, plumps them up. So by cooking this way and juicing, it helps keep you a little thinner, keeps you healthier. Now, we all eat pretty good, especially when I'm traveling. I'm in fine restaurants, you're eating very heavy foods. If I wasn't juicing in this, I don't think I'd be in anywhere the shape I am today. So I think juicing keeps you young, keeps you healthy, keeps your immune system strong. Now, Felipe, you've known me for years. Have you ever seen me sick? I mean, mild cold or something. But you say, yeah, Rick, how come he never gets sick? How come people around him get sick? How come they get the flu, they get the virus, he don't get it? Happens in his office. Now, here's the amazing thing. Since I've had the air filters, we've had almost very little sickness in our whole company. It's quite amazing that we kill all the viruses and the germs. So how do you stay healthy? I breathe pure air in my house and in my office. I drink pure water. I bathe in pure water. I cook without water. I juice every day. What do you think?
And the candlelights.
And what?
And the candlelight.
The candlelight. That's very important. Very important. We have a lot of candles at our house. Okay, we could do seances there. But the truth of the matter is, that's an important thing, and having good mattress. You know, good mattress. Good mattress. So, you missed Wednesday's meeting.
No, she was there.
Oh, sure, you remember that? Oh, yeah, yeah. The mattress. All right. Anyway, let's go down to water. Let's talk about water. God made water, and he made it good for us. What he forgot is how we're going to destroy it with all the chemicals in the world. We have chemicals, and we are drinking the same water that your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather drank. It's the same water. We have no more water, no less water on earth. It's the same water. It goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down, goes to our aquifers, goes in the ocean, goes in the lake. It just keeps recycling. So all we're drinking is recycled water. Factual. The problem we have is that over the years, we've contaminated the water. And we've put more chemicals in it, from the sprays, from the chemicals they use in farming, from the chemicals we use in our homes, from the pills we're taking and flushing into our toilets when we urinate. So really, yeah. Today they're finding there's all kinds of prescription drugs in the water. When they test it, they're finding residue of prescription drugs in all of your water. You say, really? Yeah. We want to take that out. We have lead in the water. Where does the lead come from? The pipes that are coming to your house. There's lead wells and lead in there. So what does lead do for you? Do you know what lead does? Not so much if you're older, but when you're children or as you get very old, it affects your brain. It gives you learning disabilities. So if you have said, what do you think? I said, well, the last thing I want to do is have your children or yourself have lead in your water, chlorine in your water, and chemicals in your water. So if you want to be healthy, what do? You filter your water. Now, some people say, oh, this is a little nice, cheap little filter. Let me give you the facts on this Brita. Each Brita cartridge is designed to last 40 gallons. Okay? In 1 year, your family will replace 25 of them based on 1,000 gallons, which means that the annual cost of that cartridge is $199 a year. If you're using this properly, it's $200 a year. But you're not using it for cooking, are you? You're not using it for boiling your vegetables, are you? Or washing your vegetables. All you're using it for is this little pitcher, and if you're using it properly, it's $200 to replace the cartridge for 1,000 gallons. So now, another thing that happens is this. If you take a look at this cartridge, it's got a little bit of carbon in here, and it's all loose. So it's really not getting much filtration, is it? Then last but not least, all of you know, if you take your portable and you leave it wet, what do you need to do before you use it? You got to rinse it and flush it. Why do you rinse it and flush it? What? Can't hear you.
All the contaminants that were in there before.
How do you know?
How do you know? Because it's all broken up and it's not solidified.
Uh-huh. How many people smell it after you've let it go in your car for a week?
It smells disgusting.
It smells, mildew.
Like a wet rag.
Smells like a wet rag. So you need to wash it with the chlorine and flush it out a little bit before you go use it again. Does that make sense? What do you think's happening in there? What's happening is it is bacteria growing from the warmth, the darkness, and the warmth on the carbon. So what do you think's growing in here? So I won't drink water from one of these. Maybe if you just got it, filled it up the first time and ran a little through, it would be better than tap water, but not real good. Now, here's a water pick filter. You hit it on. Six pack cartridge for this. I'm gonna leave these out so you can see them. $119 for a 6-pack. The cartridge, the little cartridge again, a little bit of carbon in it. Now, what happens? When you turn this, the water runs through this little teeny bit. It's only, so you're not really getting a lot out. You're not taking lead out. You're not going to be taking out bacteria or virus. You're going to be growing bacteria and virus in this. Does that make sense to you? So you look at this, you go, can that filter my water? Not effectively. Again, the annual cost. A 6-pack of cartridges, $118. The filter lasts 40 gallons. If you did 1,000 gallons, it's $495 for that, for 1,000 gallons. So when you get down to it, it's actually more expensive for these little toys than our filter. Does that make sense to you? So you can say, well, I got these, they were cheap. Yeah, well, they're cheap in the beginning, but not in the long run. Not if you're going to be drinking water for the rest of your life. Not if you're going to be drinking water for the next 10 years. Then you have a different situation. All right, so this is the filter. Let's talk about Caraco's filter. Caraco starts out by going through ceramic. This ceramic is made by Rolls-Royce or the Dalton Company. It's made to our specifications. It has silver impregnated into the mix. Ours is made exactly to Caraco specifications, and we're the largest customer they have in the ceramic for an individual customer. They build it to ours. This is our unit. Okay? What does ceramic do? In the old days, the Indians would take a clay pot and they would scrub the clay pot on the outside, and they would put sand and gravel and stuff on the inside. They would take the water from the streams and put it in the pot, and underneath it they would put a pot to collect the water. The water that went through the gravel and sand and went through the ceramic pot came out the other side, and they would drink it and no one would get sick. But if they drank it from the stream, they would get sick. The ceramic stops the bacteria and the virus and the cysts. Okay? So this is going to stop all of the dangerous contaminants. When people die, they die from coliform, they die. If you go to Mexico and you drink the water, what do you get? Montezuma's revenge, they call it. Okay? So while you're on our trip to Mexico, be careful what you're drinking. Drink bottled water. Do not drink tap water on the trip unless you want to visit your bathroom for the rest of the trip. Because that's what happens. It's amazing and it's miserable. There are over millions of people who die every year from unsafe water. Did you know that? Worldwide. Because once that bacteria gets in the stomach, it can destroy you. Okay? And it keeps growing and growing. So this stops all the bacteria before it gets in. And then you can clean this by scrubbing it. Okay? So now this is our 2-stage unit. And this is our unit here. You got ceramic inside, carbon inside here, another a set of carbon that purifies the water even better. When the water comes through here and it comes out here, you have 100% pure water. There's no bacteria, no virus. It takes out 99.9% of the chlorine and chemicals, takes out all the lead, takes out all the contaminants that you want out of your water. When you drink your water, it is better than bottled water. Far superior to bottled water. Why? Bottled water is nothing more than tap water. In most cases, that's filtered. There's a problem. Then they take the filtered water and they put it in a plastic bottle. Then the plastic bottle can sit at the factory for a month, 2 months in a warm warehouse. Then they put it on a boat or a plane or a truck or whatever, and they ship it to a distributor. He puts it in a warehouse. Then it goes from the distributor onto a truck and a hot sun or whatever, and it's delivered to the store. The store puts it in the back and takes it out as they need it. Sometimes that case can sit there from the time it went into the bottle to the time you're drinking. Is it a month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 7 months, 6 months, a year? We don't know. Now, as a boater, when I had a small boat, I knew one thing. Always keep water on your boat. You do that, Felipe? Especially if you're going to Bimwita. Because if the motor breaks down, if you have fresh water, you can drift for 3 days. You can live without food. We all have reserves. You cannot live too long without water. But when you put water in your boat, you fill up something and tighten it up really good. But you would change it out every couple of months, because if it sat there too long and it was in the heat, it'll start to grow bacteria inside. If you look at some of the bottled water, there's bacteria inside of the water because it's been kept in the wrong situation. You say, well, what about those bottled waters on the coolers? Are they any good? Let's talk about the bottled waters on the coolers. Same thing, they filter the water, they put it into a plastic bottle. They seal off the bottle. The bottle sits in a warehouse. The guy in the warehouse picks up the bottle, he puts it on a truck. The guy takes in a truck, he delivers it to your house or to your business. He takes it out, you put it into a rack and you store it. Now it's time to change the bottle. If you take the bottle out of a bottled water cooler without knowing which cooler, I'll go to any cooler that you haven't set me up on. I'll take the bottle out of the cooler. You put your hand inside the cooler and rub it around on the inside, and I give you 50 to 1. You'll come out with slime. It'll be slimy. I'm telling you, 50 to 1, I'll bet you. We just have to go pick them out. Say, okay, yeah, where's your water cooler? Has anybody scrubbed this in the last week or two? No. Okay, let's open one up. I'll give you 50 to 1 bet. You put your hand inside, you'll come out, it'll be like slimy. You go, oh my God, what's this? It's bacteria that's growing inside of your water tank. You want to use this water? I will not drink out of a water bottle, number one. You say, why? Because I don't know if you changed the water. Did you change the water? Yeah. What did you do before you changed the water? Did you sterilize your hands? Well, no. Actually, I was just in the bathroom. Okay. Okay, and I'm serious. Where did you go before you came to put my water bottle in? Did you sterilize the tank? Well, no. Did you sterilize the top of the bottle before you put it in? Did you wash it with a sterilizer and clean it before you took this bottle and stuck the head back in? Or does everybody who touched it since the beginning of times germs on it? Think about it. You can see the guy going, no problem, put fresh bottle in. Oh, really? Do you have rubber gloves on? Did you clean the top? Did you check inside? No, you just changed the bottle. How many people will drink out of one of those coolers now? After you hear it, you go see a cooler, you go, I ain't drinking it. Capadonna told me I'm opening it up. 50 to 1 shot. It's got bacteria growing inside. Oh, yeah, reverse osmosis. What is reverse osmosis? It's forced through a membrane, and it takes out bacteria and virus. It does. It takes out chemicals. It takes out everything. There's no minerals in it, no nothing. It's almost like distilled water. So you've taken everything out of the water. Some of our competitors will go, let's test the water. Look at this. And they put this thing, this water's hard. Yes, it is, intentionally. We do not take out the minerals. We need minerals. We need minerals. We need more. You take mineral pills. You should take them because not enough minerals in the food. Take a mineral pill. It'd be helpful to you. So you need minerals. Why do we want to take them out? Same with a distiller. A distiller distills all the minerals, all of everything, and has sterilized water. Distilled water is excellent for 3 places. 1 is your battery. 2 is your iron, because it doesn't scale up. And 3, if you want to detox yourself. What do you mean by detox? If you decide you want to pull everything out of your body, you want to get all the toxins in your body, you go on to a fast. Maybe people have done that. When you fast, drink distilled water. Because what happens is when you distill water or you take all the minerals out, the water acts like a magnet and it's now going to pull to get the minerals back. Does that make sense? It's like a sponge now. It's like, okay, it's going to absorb the minerals. So when you drink it through your body, it pulls the minerals and pulls all the toxins, pulls everything out of your body and flushes it out of your system. You understand? Is that what you want to do? Only if you're detoxing and you want to do a week of that. So you don't want to drink that kind of water on a daily basis because it's demineralizing your body. It's taking too much away from you and putting it through your urinary system. So distilled water is not good. Our water is chemical free with the minerals in it. Now, let me show you a little test that we do. Joey,
Yes, sir.
which is the water and where did it come from?
That water came from your executive conference room,
Which is not filtered. Well, it's filtered, but not the tap portion of it. I have a filter in there. What's that? Similar?
Yeah, I would use that. It's already been dissipated.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pour some of this water in here. This is the regular tap water. And then I'm going to pour some in here. And I'll pour a little in here so I can keep some for later. This regular tap water out of there. Now, first thing I want you to do is look at the tap water, if you can, and you'll notice the color. Do you see the color? It's kind of like a little brown. This is right out of the tap. This is from our tap water. This is Florida water out of the tap. How would you like to be my helper? All right, you got to put that down for a moment. And I want you to take your fingers. Okay. And sit right there. I want you to put 3 or 4 fingers in that water and just hold them there. Can you do that for me? Now I'm going to do a little OTO test just to show you. Don't take them out now. This shows how much chlorine is in the water. I'm going to put it down low so you can see. It looks like a yellow Gatorade. So the water that he's putting his fingers in looks like this right now. Do you see that? I want you to remember, he's got his fingers in that cup, and he's got it in the chlorine water. It's yellow, huh? All right, now I'll put this over here and get out of our way. And now we're going to come over here and I'm going to make a little water plant. What happens when you have a water plant? When the water comes into the water plant, it's not clear. It's brown or yellowish. So I'm going to do a little something here to show you what happens in a water plant. I'm going to put just a little drop of this in here. To make it yellow. That's the water plant now, all right? I'm going to stir it up. So when the water comes into the water plant, kind of like that, or it's brownish, brackish water. Say, wow, we got to purify. So the first thing they do, they put it through screens to take some things out, and they put it in to settle, and then they start to add chemicals. The first chemical they add is a Clorox of some type, chlorine. And they put it in the water and put a few drops in here. And then we're going to stir it a little bit and watch what happens. What do you think, guys? Is it ready to send to the people? A little more I think we need, huh? Put a little bit more in there. Make sure we get this right, because we send it to people who want to be clear. Actually, it should be done with a little dropper. But is it clear now? Looks pretty clear now, huh? We got it clear. There's only one problem with this. If I were to send this to the people, and I sent this to your house, you'd say, oh my God, no good. It smells like what? Like worse than a pool. It's chlorine. You say, well, we can't send those to the people because the people would call and scream and yell, hey, my water's no good. You got too much chlorine in it. So, we don't want them to smell it. You can smell chlorine in the water, but we're going to do something here to help the people. So what we're going to do is we're going to put, this is what the water companies do. They use 3,000 different chemicals they're legally allowed to use. 3,000. So then they do is they say, well, we'll fix it up a little bit. We'll put a little ammonia in it. You say, why are you doing ammonia? Well, the ammonia will dissipate Is better? Yeah. Much better? Is better than before? Is better? Yes? Much better now.
That's great for cleaning floors and tiles.
Much, much better. See, we eliminated the odor. Now we can send it to the customers because they won't smell it quite as bad. It'll smell a little better. Still has a little chlorine smell, but it's not going to be quite so bad if I send it like this. By the time it gets to them, it won't smell so bad. How many people want to drink that? I just killed all the bacteria and viruses and stuff. I put chemicals in. This is what the city's sending to your house. This is what a swimming pool would look like when they fill it up. Colors come back. I'd have to add more chlorine. So what they do is they bounce a little more chlorine, a little bit until they get it to the point, release it. Now, the question is, would you want to drink it? This would be a very good test because almost impossible. It would be impossible just about to get this out. Let's try and see what happens here. Let it go through. How are your fingers? They clean yet? All right, now, we tested before the chlorine. Let's see. You saw how yellow the other chlorine got from the city water, right? All he did was put his fingers in here. Still some chlorine, but reduced substantially over the last one. Here's the last one. Where did the chlorine go? Smell your fingers. Look at the difference. Which means that your body is absorbing the chlorine when you're bathing. And you're smelling the gases from that. So what do you need? A whole house water filter. That'll solve the problem. I'm going to get these out of the way here. Whole house water filling is what you need. Now, let's see what happened here. There's the water before the filter. You saw the chemicals I just put in that, right? Salute. Pure water. This is what I put in. This is what came out. So by filtering the water, you're taking all the chemicals out. Anybody want to drink this one?
No.
This one's drinkable. Just a little bit of water, Ted. Look at that. So you said, what do you think? This does 1/10 of what our water filter does. 1/10. But just to show the difference from filtered water. So when you're filtering your water, my favorite unit is my 15-inch. I love this unit. I think it's the best unit ever made. Got the multiple stages in this, and it's an amazing, amazing product. You have your 15-inch. You have your 10-inch. For those of you who haven't seen it in real life, this is your 10-inch countertop. This is your Dolphin, or Penguin. The Dolphins lost the game. The Penguin's 1. Okay, it's got a counter in top. It's a countertop Penguin. Same cartridge, same unit. A very special unit as well for those who want on a countertop. And you have your water filtration process. Let me ask you a question. Do you see what makes Caraco's water filter special? Now, when you take reverse osmosis and distillation on those units, they cost a fortune to service. Ours is service. Now, when the customer gets her unit and they open it up and they go to clean the ceramic, they will fall in love with you again because they'll see animal parts on there, bug parts, slime, and they'll clean and go, oh my God, am I glad I bought this water filter because look, all the chemicals and the slime it kept from my family. It's amazing. So, you know, when you have that, we have, I just wanted to touch quickly on our storage set. For those of you who haven't seen it, let me show you. This is Tupperware, or Rubbermaid. This is Tupperware. When you put Tupperware next to Caraco, it's a joke. They do sell $3 billion a year worth of this, though. So people are buying it. But let me show you what happens when you have Caraco Ultravac storage system. When you start to take the air out of the product, you're sealing it completely closed. You cannot get this top off if you try for all day. Impossible to get it off. Impossible to get it off. Impossible. You can even beat it. Still can't get it off. Good news is it goes back together. This way. Okay, back together and working again. That's why I was warned. No, it's fine. I just knocked it off. But you still can't get the top off. You can drive a truck over it. We have a picture with a truck on top of them. Okay? The only way to get that top off is just watch the balloon. You release the pressure. Now, this, one of my favorite things with this, you know what I do? I marinate. One of my favorite recipes, I take baby back little lamb chops, the little ones, nice and lean. I take some garlic, some olive oil, some rosemary, and I take mint jelly, and I mix it up, and I put it in here with the little lamb. And then I pump it real hard and let it sit for 3 hours. Now the mint goes into the lamb, the herbs, the rosemary, the garlic, the olive oil. You throw them on the grill. Fabulous. Or you cook them in a skillet. Just take it in a skillet, throw in a skillet, flip it over. Amazing. Why? Because all the mint and everything goes, all the flavor goes through your meats. Same if you're going to do chicken. Take your chicken, prep it, put all your marinades inside, and pump that. What do you guys do? The mojo chicken with the orange and yeah. But just don't take orange. Take some marmalade. Mix it with the orange marmalade for that sweet, and you put it in there and pump it. Now, Italians do rosemary, olive oil, and garlic. We put the rosemary. I chop it up. If you want to saute a little bit, put it in there and pump it. Let it sit for a little while, because what happens is this. When you pump it, it opens up the grain of the lamb, or it just opens it up. It pulls like this, and everything goes into it. You want to do steaks and marinate them with a little olive oil and some garlic or whatever you want to do. It's amazing. So this, as a marinator, is amazing. But we use it all the time for blueberries and strawberries and things in the home, and to keep them from getting moldy. We like a lot of fresh fruits. So we put them in, they pump them clean. Problems of getting old are gone. You come back a week later, there's nothing growing on them. So this helps to save you money. It's lifetime. It's amazing. There's no storage set in the world like it. If you use this on a regular basis, your food will last 5 times as long. And it's the best in the world. Let's talk about our air filters for a moment. Are you learning something? Yes. Because if you don't know your product knowledge is power. So you say, well, I saw that unit down Sharper Image. Well, yeah, it's a joke. It's a toy. Show me. This is your Ionic Breeze. Okay? What is it? Where's the filter? Where's the filter? There is no filter. You can see through it. It's a couple of pieces of metal that are electronically charged. Okay? It's an ionizer. It is one of our stages, but not as effective. One. What happens is when dust, big dust, goes through, it gets connected. Then you take it off and you clean the dust off. Okay? That's all it's taking out. It's not taking out odors, not taking out gases. It's taking out dust. And it ain't doing a good job at that because there's no filters, no HEPA, nothing. Here's Oreck. You've seen it advertised on TV. Here's their filter. This one you can drive a truck through. Look. This. Look at it. Look at these people call these filters. Look. What are you going to stop with this? These are filters. And then, here it is. It's Oreck Professional, $600. That's the inside. Joey took it out for me. But that's the filter inside. And then again, you've got those plates inside. You can see right through it. So what happens is the dust that gets through these filters obviously gets electrostatically charged. And what ionization is, if you remember when you would walk and you would touch somebody and the shock would come, or you would drop something and it would stick to you, or you girls are getting dressed and your dress keeps sticking to you and you're trying to pull it away. So how come everything's sticking to me, you know? It's static electricity. It's ionization. Okay? And after electrical storms, there's more ionization. You walk across the carpet, I touch you, and bam, it shocks you. So that's what they're using as a filtering technology that the dust will stick to the next thing it comes to. Does that make sense? That's what they're selling, $500, $600, $700. Or here's another one. There's no filter in it. Nothing to it. Let's talk about Caraco. This is a filter. I can tell you this. These filters, I came here, and every month, once a month, we change them, clean them, make sure they're clean. And the dirt that we find on them is caked after 30 days. The dust that we pull out of these buildings every month, we could probably, if we took all the filters and emptied all, we would have a pile of dirt here at the end of a month. Where would that dirt be if it wasn't in the filter? In your lungs. In your lungs. So what's on the dirt? What's on the dust? Dust mites, bugs. People have allergies. It's not to the dust, it's to the dust mites. There are little bugs inside of every piece of dust. Thousands and thousands of little dust mites. If you're, I don't know about you, I made them clean these. So why? Because if I touch that dirty, dusty one, I just looked at it, I was going to pick it up, I go, I'm not touching it. Because if I pick it up, I will start to get, my eyes will start to hurt, and it'll start to tighten up from the dust. I'm allergic to dust, or everybody I think has a reaction to dust. It just, ooh, my eyes hurt, my throat gets. If I go into a carpet shop or a shop where there's a lot of fabrics or something, someone starts looking, I go, I got to go outside. I can't be in here. Why? It's closing up. You know. I'm going to tell you a funny story. I was in Italy going over to Croatia on a boat, on a ferry boat. It's a boat that carries cars over, but I'm going across. So we had they called it the VIP suite. Well, it wasn't very VIP because it was dusty and dirty. They probably hadn't cleaned it in 10 years. All right? So my girlfriend said, we got to go out. We're going to go out to dinner, go get a drink. I said, okay. She said, you got to hide my purse because there was no sailor. I said, okay, I'm going to hide the purse. Let me think. I opened the closet and I saw life jackets there. I said, I'll put them behind the life jacket. So I pull the life jackets. I go to put it behind. I realize they're all full of dust and the dust is coming out. I'm like, oh, shit. I pull it back. I go, no, I can't do it here. I'll put it under the bed. I go under the bed. There's more dust under the bed. I left it. I go, oh, shit. Now I'm coming out of the place. We're walking. She said, you okay? I said, no, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I couldn't breathe. I was actually scared, nervous. I'm like, I'm not okay. I'm trying to get out. She said, where are you going? You okay? No, I'm not okay. Well, why are you going that way? I'm not okay. I'm trying to get out to the air where the wind was blowing in my face to try to get some fresh air. And I'm, give me a Claritin, give me a pill. Why? I go, what part of I'm not okay do you not understand? You know, I'm not okay. Okay? Yeah, are you okay? No, I'm not okay. And I couldn't breathe. And it was from the dust. It took me about a half hour to get to the point I could breathe properly again. And I'd take a couple of Claritin. I said, let me get the allergy pill. Because I'm allergic to dust. People don't know. You get up in the morning, you feel clogged up. How many people get up in the morning, your head's a little clogged? You know, you got to take a shower, clear your head out. This is all allergies. When you have a Caracal filter in your house, you wake up like you just went to sleep. You're nice and fresh. So these air filters, now let's take a look at what Caracal has. This is our three-stage pre-filter. It's an electrostatic pre-filter which creates electrical charge as the air goes through it. Now, can you see through that? Slightly. See a little light through it. But that will stop more than any of those filters will stop in the first stages. This is we pre-filter, and it's going to stop 90% of the things in the air, the bacteria, not the bacteria, but the dust. Dust is easy. Dust is easy for us. If you think of dust, think of a tractor trailer tire. And if you say, well, what do you stop? We stop grapes. If dust is equivalent to a tractor trailer tire, we're stopping grapes, which means we stop bacteria and viruses and particles 500 times thinner than your hair. 500 times thinner than a human hair. That's what we're stopping. Bacteria, virus, cysts. Dust is kid stuff. We not only stop dust and particle matter, then it's got to go through this. Now, anybody can see through this. I got to talk to later on because they have x-ray vision. This is what it's got to go through. First it's going through this, and then it's going through this. And in here we have tactified polyester, which is out here, which is a sticky foam. So when it hits this tactified polyester, what happens? If the dust got past this, it sticks there. Then it goes to HEPA, a high particular arrest material, which is a pleated fabric designed for hospital use to stop bacteria, virus, and cysts. So if it got through the tactified polyester, now we're getting down to the little stuff, where we're stopping bacteria and viruses and other things that can hurt you, disease, airborne disease germs. Then if it gets around or through our HEPA, we kill it with an antimicrobial foam behind it. And then it has to go into carbon pad. So if it's a gas or an odor that wasn't a particular item, we absorb it with our carbon. And if it gets past the carbon, we stop it with the germ warfare fabric. Now, anything that gets through this deserves to live. Leave the poor guy alone. He's fought for his life. Open the window and let him out. This is filtrate. This is purifying your ear. Does that make sense to you? This purifies your ear. And then we ozonate it or ionize it like they do. We charge the ear up, which makes everything heavy, and it wants to stick to something. Okay? If you're just ionizing and you walk by an ionizer, you're the filter. Do you understand that? You can become the filter, except in our particular case, we ionize and pull it back with our fan. Our powerful fan goes and brings it back to the unit so we can capture it. And then, when you have an odor or a gas or mold or viruses in the air, in your fabrics, in your seats, in your cushions, in your carpet, everywhere else in the house. Because let me tell you something. If someone comes in your house and smokes a cigarette or a cigar, you can open your windows till your face falls off. The smell is in your fabrics, it's in the clothes, it's in everything. Okay? So the only way to get rid of it, you got to go out and attack it. If you have a fire in your house, let me tell you what would happen. The insurance going to go, you had a fire in your kitchen, okay, we're going to fix your kitchen. That's $6,000, $10,000, $12,000, fix your kitchen. Oh, no. How about the rest of my house? Well, we're going to paint the kitchen, paint the areas that got smoky, and we're going to get, oh, no, how about my sofa and my carpet and my drapes? You got to replace it all. It stinks. We'll take care of that for you, ma'am. We'll have someone here tomorrow. You have to leave the house for 4 hours. And what do? They bring in a giant ozone machine. They close off the house. Everybody leaves the house, get your pets out of the house, and they crank up the ozone. 2-3 hours later, you open the door, all the smells are gone. It eats the gases, eats the odors, eats the smells, and turns it back into oxygen and refreshes your whole house. So you say, wow, so we could do that ourselves. Yes. If you had a major fire, you might need 3 or 4 of them around the house, or a company that comes in really jams it. But yes, you could do it with this. Absolutely. All right. All you do is use them when you're in unoccupied space or in occupied spaces where there's gases and odors. In other words, if you're cooking and you want to get rid of, look, I know you guys like garlic. The only people who use more garlic than the Spanish people are the Italian people. Would you take garlic out of our diet? We couldn't eat. You tie our hands and we can't talk. So that's Italian, right? See? All right. So bottom line is, if you're cooking and you come in the house, you go, yeah, it's very nice, but my house stinks. Turn the ozone on. Leave it on for an hour. Gases are gone. You're having a party. You know, there's too many people in there. You want to get rid of some of the odors in there. Throw your ozone on. Put it on 15 off on a low. Leave it on all night. What you don't want to do with ozone is put it in your bedroom and turn it on and leave it on all the time, because you'll over-ozonate the room. Does that make sense to you? You'll start to smell the ozone. But you could put it for your clothes. Now, here's what we do. When I leave the master bedroom, we turn on the ozone for 4 hours. By the time we come back, the room is clean. We kill bacteria, kill viruses. We eliminated the dry cleaning odors. We eliminated odors on your clothes. Okay? Did you ever go to a bar or something, you come back and you go, holy, I smell. Take your clothes, put it in front of an ozonator. 20 minutes later, it smells perfectly clean. So it goes into the fabrics, eats the gas, and eliminates it. So what do we have? We have an air filter that has all of the technology from HEPA, charcoal, absorption, static electricity, antimicrobial, ozone, and ionization. All of the technology is built into one unit. So if you want the best air filter in the world, that's it. If you want the cheapest one, go buy something else. It just ain't going to work. Everybody I know that ever's bought one of these cheaper filters go, they don't work. They don't work. This works. All right, now let's cut up a little bit. Cutlery. We're going to do a little cutlery presentation here. People want to know what makes cutlery so great. Our cutlery great? Well, first of all, you should know that I was 17 years old. I started with Cutco. That's where I started my career in this business. So I became a little knowledgeable about cutlery. When I was selling Cutco cutlery, I realized that their cutlery was not the finest in the world. And I decided if I was ever going to build some cutlery, I was going to build the very finest available in the world. And so we have the Caraco cutlery set. Let's talk about our cutlery. First of all of our knives are balanced perfectly. They're all designed to be balanced with our bolsters and our handle and the weight of the knife. This is professional cutlery. We start our blade with a block of steel. It's fully forged. And they heat the steel and they pound it. And they keep heating it to temper it and forging it and pounding it. The way you make metal hard is to heat it and forge it. That's what fully forged and tempered steel is. So they forge and temper this from a block of steel, and there's 27, 28 processes that go into making this blade. If you look, I think it's in the other building. We have the, it's in the other building. You see how it starts out with a block of steel, and it goes all the way down, and they form it into this blade. Our handles are made of engineering plastic. It's a special plastic they use for making molds and engineering products. There's no finer blade than the Caraco blade in the world. There is none. So what about Hinkle? No better. Ours may be better than theirs because we use engineering plastic and we use molybdenum steel on it. Now, do they cut? That's what knives need to do. They need to cut. I'm going to show you a couple of our competitors' knives. This is a Cutco knife. It's a Chefco knife. These are Cutco steak knives. They come in white and they come in brown. All right, let's try first with our little steak knife here. Who wants to help me here? You want to help me? All right, come on. You like to play, huh? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to take this, a brand new steak. I opened it yesterday, brand new steak knife. I want you to take this leather. This is leather. And cut, hey, easy on my fingers, my friend. Just saw back and forth with it. Pretty good, huh? Pretty good. 4 strokes? Try it again. That's pushing hard, huh?
Yeah.
Let's take one of our steak knives and see if there's a difference. Give me that one.
I got too many knives.
I don't want you. You look dangerous, actually. Let's say, look. Try it again. This is what steak knives are supposed to do. We stack them up, make sure it's a tough steak, and one slice, you cut them all. Aha. Let's talk about carving. And by the way, if you'd like to come up and touch these, they feel like they could fly out of your hand. And these knives are more expensive than ours. Cutco knives are very expensive. Now let's talk about a Cutco knife here. Let's take and cut this rope.
Yo. I didn't have my juice this morning. It's not gonna happen.
It's not going to happen. Let's try the other side now. Wait a second here. And let me have one of my, what am I doing with my blade here? Okay, I'll try this one here. Na, 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 na. You, give me that knife, put that over here. And you come over here. And you're dangerous. I want you to just hold this right here. Don't worry, I won't take your fingers. Put it here. Hold it tight. Hold it tight. I want you all to count to tell me how many strokes it takes, okay? One stroke. And I'm going to pass this around. I want you to look at it. It's almost sealed. It's shiny. It didn't rip it. It shined it. Try it again. Hold it over here.
That's a sharp knife.
It's a very sharp knife. All it takes is one stroke. Pass that around. That's what you carve with. When you carve with this, we don't happen to have a slice of white bread, do we? See if you can find a slice of white bread. Or a slice of bread. Let's talk about our shears. Let me show you. This is what we do with our shears. When you get your samples, they come apart to be washed or cleaned. But sometimes you go shopping and it's 2 for $1. So that's 12.5 cents each, right? So you take your scissors out, you take your penny, and you put your penny here like this. and you can cut it and give them the half a cent. So you save a lot of money with these shears. Okay? But look at that. Now here's what's really neat is that after you cut that penny, we'll come back and cut a tissue. So the blades are still very, very sharp. When you have a pair of Caraco shears, you have the best tool in your whole home. You'll use it in your garden. You'll use it for chicken. You'll use it for fishing. You use it for cutting the lobster. You'll use it for your pizza pie. You use it for everything. This will be your favorite pair of shears. You use it for your silk. You use it for your cardboard. You use it for your Christmas tree. You can use it for, it becomes your most handy item in your home. Now, let me show you. Sometimes it's hard to cut a piece of bread. Very difficult. Let me use this one?
Either one.
Either one, okay. Yeah, Joey just showed all of you see what a fully forged looks like in your literature. Now I'm going to take a piece of white bread. Let's just take it like this and see what happens when I run our blade across it. Look at that. But you know, eating white bread isn't so good for you. So if you don't want to eat so much white bread, you take your knife like this, you lay your bread like this, and then what you do is you cut it like this, and you make 2 slices out of it. But if you're really hungry and you want to spread your bread a little further, you can make you can make 3 slices out of it. Okay? I defy you to do that with any other knife. Take a piece of white bread and slice it down the center. This is professional cutlery. This is what you want to have in your home. Wow, what a home you would have. You have a great juicer, the finest cookware, air filtration, water filtration, whole house water unit, finest cutlery, storage set. Now your house is equipped Caraco style, huh? Amazing. Have you learned a little bit about product today? Well, you know what's interesting? There's a reason I wanted to do this today. I want you to understand that when you sell a product that you believe in, when you can say, what I'm going to show you today is the best in the world, there is no better. This is the finest, and I can look you straight in it. There is no better knife in the world. This is the best cookware. There's not another set in the world that cooks without water, cooks without grease, has a temperature gauge, tells you if you're going to burn, has a whistle that calls you. No other cookware in the world is made to the standard of Caraco. None. I know them all. I've been to every show. There is none. It is without a doubt the finest set of cookware that you can put in your hands. It is the finest cutlery. That air filter is the finest air filter because it has every technology that you can have in a unit. It's not a toy, it's a professional air filter. Your juicer, I've been using our juicer in my home for 10, 12 years. Every day. I'd have gone through 27 juicemen by now. I'd have spent thousands of dollars on cheap units. And then you got the other ones. You got those units you have to take apart. Takes you half hour to get them apart, half hour to get them back together. You quit juicing because they're hard to juice. This one, you pop the sides, bingo, rinse it off, and you're back to juicing again. Caraco has products that make sense. All you need to do is demonstrate these products, and you'll get the results. If you want the results, you demonstrate them. You want to take the time to come over and look at this. But what's the key to your success? How many people notice I have a passion for these products? There's a reason. I believe in them. I really believe that if you own these products in your home, you're going to have a better life. Your children are going to be healthier. You'll have less sickness in your family. You will live longer, and you won't suffer along the way. I'm going to tell you one story about my mom. My mom was 94 years old when she passed away. At 93 years old, she was healthy. She wasn't on any, but she hurt herself, and she was gone. She was going down. About 92, she broke her hip. When you get old, don't fall. It's the beginning of the end. Anyway, she got so weak, she couldn't talk, she wasn't eating, couldn't swallow. So hospice comes in. And they said, you know, we'll take care of your mom. We're going to make her comfortable. I said, okay, that's good. Had full-time nurses. I had massages for her. I took care of my mom like a princess. We assumed it was the end, so we got her last rites. And we said, and they said, okay, here's what we're going to do now. We're going to give her morphine. I said, okay, that'll make her feel better. I said, okay, sounds good. Can I have some? So he said, no, you know, we're going to give her morphine, but don't give her anything to drink or nothing to eat. I said, what do you mean? He said, no, you can't let her drink anything and don't let her eat anything. She will aspirate and die. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I figure if you don't let her eat and drink, she's going to die anyway, right? So I said, yeah, but she'll die peacefully. I said, bullshit. I'm not going to sit here and kill my mother. Basically, we're saying we're going to kill her. I can't do that. So forget the morphine. Oh, you're cruel. You're a cruel person. You don't know what you're talking about. We're experts. And they got mad at me. I said, I don't really give a damn. I cannot sit here and not give my mother anything to drink. I can't do this. We're not going to do this. Okay, well, then we can't help you. Thank you very much. Goodbye. So guess what I did? I went out and I bought a basting. You know, you baste turkeys with the... I got the juicer out and I started juicing for my mother. And I would go there and I have the nurses, I'd teach them how to make her suck out of that like a baby, like a nipple. It was a big baby bottle. I prayed, come on, drink. Sure as hell, 4 or 5 days later, she was back in alert again. At the end of a week, she was fine. They were killing her. I saved her. Now all the nurses come back to her. We've never seen anything like this before. It's amazing. How did you do it? We did it with juice. Oh, we want to buy a juicer. So I sold some juicers and some cookware. You know, yeah, I'm serious. They all wanted juicers all of a sudden. We never saw anything like it. I got my mother one more good year. I got her a year from when they were going to kill her, and no morphine. She died of her natural causes in her sleep one night, and I felt good because I didn't kill her. Now, that's the power of juicing. Dr. Norman Walker said people would come into his clinic. They would be dying. They would carry them in, and were told they were dying in a week, 10 days. They're gone. Go do your will. Bring them in. They did 2 things. They did enemas, water enemas, and flushed them and juiced. That's all they did was juice from the top and flush from the bottom, and in a week they walked back out of the clinic alive. All of your bacteria and stuff inside, your colon was clogged up. They cleaned the colon and fed them from the juice, which went through the intestinal walls and brought them back to health. So beware of doctors. The life they save will not be yours. In most cases, they do more damage than good. They get you on one pill, and I get a kick out of this medical stuff. They got to, you're having a problem, your body's aching, take this drug. But be careful. You could die from it, you'll eat your stomach out, you could da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. They spend 5 minutes telling you all the reasons you shouldn't take it, and people go take it. Am I right or wrong? You listen to what it's going to do for you, and then you listen, you have acid reflux. Try this pill. Well, I did that. I had a little acid reflux. I took the pill. Yeah, screwed up my stomach. That's it. No more pills for me. Juice is good. Water, a lot of water, a lot of juice. Cook without water. Breathe good air. Use good cutlery. And you'll be sharp. And you'll stay sharp. Don't let these doctors get to you. Seriously, we have what I consider a gift for other customers. If they listen, and this is not just storytelling, this is not selling, these products make sense. I don't care what economic time. We're having our best year of our life because we're presenting products people need. And when they really think, I go, what? Forget everything else. The most valuable asset you have is your good health. And I thank God every day that I am part of this business, because if it wasn't me being part of this business, I wouldn't be juicing. I wouldn't have waterless cookware. I wouldn't have an air filter in my house. I'd probably be drinking tap water like a lot of the world going, oh, it's got chlorine, it's good for you. You know, when you start to think about it, if you do the things we talked about today, do you agree you would live longer? You would be healthier? You have a better life? What a small investment. What a small investment for your health. Today, this is minimal dollars, and then we have our specials and our combinations. Those of you who don't have them, you're welcome to pick one up. This is our combinations and special packages, given a great thing. We have Mother's Day specials. Pick one up, get one of these. But if you want to be successful, the key to your business is, one, have passion for your products, believe in your products, and believe in yourself, and believe in your company. If you don't believe in I think our business is like a religion. If you stop believing, you don't go to church. When you stop believing, you stop praying. When you stop believing in your company and believing in your products, you stop selling. This is why I am a fanatic about the best. To me, I have to know what I'm touching is the finest. Then I represent it with passion. If I was looking at my product, well, this is pretty good, but there's better, I'd go, then I can't talk about it. I can't get excited about it. I have to know that what we handle is the finest. And I can tell you this, I continuously work every day thinking of how we can make what we have better. How can we improve it? Every time I touch it, how can I make this better? How can we have a better product? Because I want to stay on the cutting edge and to be able to represent our products amazingly proud. Now, what's the key to your success? Product knowledge. How many people would like to have the knowledge that I have? Would you really like to have it? Listen, not one thing I said today isn't in your literature or your training manual. Not one thing that I said today is not in that literature. A lot more is in the literature than what I said. If you study your literature like a Bible, look, there's not a thing I told you today that you shouldn't already know. You should have said, I've read all this. I read my literature 10 times. Did you read it 10 times? Liar. You get a Playboy magazine? Do you ever look at your Playboy magazine? Do you look at it many times, or you just look at it once? Huh? Make believe that your training manual is a Playboy magazine. If you look at it that many times, you will need the magazine, you'll have money, and the girls will follow you. Oh, yeah, you got it, But, it's interesting. You'll take a stupid book, a storybook, and you'll read it for days, right? I can't get the book down. I can't put the book down. What the hell are you learning? I got a philosophy. I want to be doing what the people are doing in the book. I don't want to read what they're doing. I want to be living it. But people will read books for days. I'm reading this book. There's this stick. I got to read a book. If I'm going to read something, I got to make money doing this. Let me read my literature. Let me read my training manual. Now, let me tell you something. Do you know what I did this morning? Joey, tell them what I did this morning.
You sat in your office and you read the brochures and the manual.
I got here a little early today. I thought about it last night. I planned my talk last night. We set up the room last night. I looked at it and I thought. I said, Richard, you haven't looked at this literature in a long time. You better go look at the literature and get a little fresh on this. So I took 45 minutes this morning. Debbie can tell you. Debbie got me the literature. I said, Debbie, go get me my literature. It's in the other room. I said, I need it here now. I need to look through it. And I studied it. I go, yeah, okay. I said, I don't want to start talking. What I need to know is in this literature. What I need to say is in this literature. What you need to say is in this literature. I basically was putting on a presentation with the knowledge I got from the literature this morning and over time. So if you learn your literature, so when you show it, you're not going da, 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 da. You're going, let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about Dr. Norman. Let me tell you about that. Let me tell you about that. Why do you want to juice? You don't have to look at it because you know what's on the brochure. You know it like an expert. So do you want to be an expert? Study your literature. You want to be an expert? Get into your manual. You want to be a professional when you get out there? I want to talk with confidence? It's all there. You should, as new people in this room, you should be looking at this every day for hours. You should be saying, look, when I go to sleep at night, I'm studying. Watch a movie. What are you, nuts? They don't pay me for this. They pay me for this. If I get really good at this, I'll make a lot of money. If I really learn every one of my products really well, I'll be a professional. No one will be able to say no to me because I'm a pro. So if you want to be a professional, ask yourself, where did Rick get the knowledge? Over years. Where's the knowledge now? In your literature. In your literature. So learn your literature. Power is knowledge. Knowledge is power. Then you say to yourself, hey, I want to be rich. If I get these products in front of 15 people every week and tell them the story, you'll make a lot of money. You'll be rich. Would you like that? Yep. This is no rocket science stuff. You don't have to be a genius. You have to have passion. You have to have desire. So you learn what's in the literature. You study your manual. You come to meetings. You listen at the meetings. You take notes. And you go out and stumble a few times. You fall down a few times. And you say, oh, that wasn't so good. I know how to dance now. I'm not going to step on those things anymore. I've got my demonstration better. I made a mistake, but now I'm getting better. I didn't assume. And then you listen to tapes, closing the sale, cashing objection, talk to your manager. I don't need some closing. I'm off on closing. Tell me how to prospect and qualify. They have them. Ask for them. We'll give them to use, and we'll give them to you if you need them. But that's how you get good. If you demonstrate 15 times, you'll make 10 sales. If you demonstrate 15 times this week, all three, 15, 30, 45, I'll tell you what, I guarantee you'd have 30 sales. If the three went on 45 presentations on, you'd have 30 sales. 10 apiece. You go, really? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And what would happen? I'll tell you what would happen. Next thing you'd be doing is going to Atlantis. All of this can be yours. All you need to do is get those products and show them. I also recommend that every one of you invest $120 in your basic sample case. If you do not invest in this sample case, your chances of success are very much slimmer than if you have samples. Because today, when I put stuff in your hands and you touched it and you look at it and you saw a visual, did it make a difference than just showing you a picture? So the question is, who's going with me? I'm going. I'm bringing the boat over. Sponsor, help others accomplish their goals. Make their dreams come true. Make your dreams come true. Take advantage of this opportunity. And remember this, an opportunity like Carico comes once in a lifetime. There is no better opportunity. Felipe Fernandez said, I always get a kick out of it because he said to me, you know, Rick, if there's such a thing as reincarnation and I died and I came back, I'd be looking to come back with Carico. That's kind of a good endorsement, wouldn't you agree? And you know what, Felipe? I'd be there with you because I don't know of a better lifestyle. We've lived the life. We've traveled the world. We have fun. No one yelling at us as bosses. We have our independence. We make dreams come true, and we help hundreds of people change their lives. So I can't think of anything better to do than Carico. I challenge you all to take advantage of this great opportunity and make your dreams come true. Flipper, you have your pen back?
Yes, I do.
You did. You got that pen. Thank you.